I'm here with Scott Ludlam, former Senator Scott Ludlam from the Australian Greens. We are at the press conference of Kristinn Hraffnson. Can you tell me something about what people are still asking of you today, Scott, in relation to Julian Assange?
People are wanting to know what they can do, which is a real relief. It's great that I think the tide is turning, in a sense that the disinformation campaign that's been railing down on Julian's head and on his colleagues for the last nearly 10 years is starting to abate. People are starting to see through it, and now they realise what's at stake. The risk that Julian faces, the risk that we all face if journalism is conflated with espionage, as the US government keeps trying to do. People want to know what they can do. And so it's fantastic having Kristinn here today at the Australian Press Club. So he's speaking to Australian journalists and to people who are interested, and to supporters, people who maybe want to hear directly, firsthand, what's at stake. And in a moment we're going to take Kristinn up to Parliament House for a press conference and for a meeting with politicians who are supportive, maybe some who aren't so supportive. And one by one people are coming back on side again. And we need that. We need the Australian government to step up so that, as they've done for many other Australians who found themselves in trouble overseas, your government has to have your back. They have to stand up for him, even though it's going to be inconvenient, even though it's going to upset the United States. The hell is the point of having a diplomatic relationship and an alliance with the United States if we can't step up for one of our own? So we're hoping to press that case later this afternoon, and I'm hoping that we see the momentum that's building continue to build.
Well, some of those MPs that are in the group, the support group, the group that with the aim of bringing Julian back to Australia, will they be up in Parliament today?
Yeah, Parliament is sitting today. It's the last sitting week of the year, and so people's time is pretty precious. People's diaries are crowded in the last sitting week of a year, but people are making time for Julian, and I think we will get a good turnout. The last time we were there, which was with Jen Robinson, one of Julian's lawyers, part of his legal team, we had a full house. And so I think having Kristinn here today is just going to keep the momentum ticking along and keep it uppermost in people's minds.
So this is a cross-party group. Why is it that all branches of politics are interested in this transparency?
Well, the cross-party groups are one of the healthiest things in an otherwise pretty dysfunctional parliament, because people can leave their politics at the door. They know that if they're in that room, they're united by a particular issue. And so they're actually quite valuable. I was involved in a few of them when I was in the Senate, and it's good that there's now a support group for bringing Julian home, because that has Labor members, Green members, Independents, and some LNP members as well, including some quite high-profile ones. What that means is when they're sitting in that room, they close the door, they can speak freely about what it is that they can do collectively to get an Australian citizen back on Australian soil.
Yes. How much sway does that group actually have?
Well, people have sway individually inside the parliament within their own party rooms, and that's what makes it so valuable. So the Labor members, they go and sit in their caucus and they can raise issues with their leadership teams. Same for the Liberal National Party. They can raise issues with their membership, with their leadership teams about the growing concern and try to pull the political sting out of it. We don't want this to be a politicised issue. It's not owned by the Greens or the left or the right or the government or anybody. It's an issue of the integrity of journalism, the way we treat publishers, and ruling a very clear line under this argument that somehow journalism is espionage. It's not.
Yes, we need an accurate historical record, don't we?
If the country forgets its history, it's doomed to repeat it. Australia has an enormous historical amnesia with the existence of Aboriginal people and the fact that this is stolen ground that we're sitting on. The very last thing Australia needs is to be layering more layers of amnesia over the existing oldest layer. And so protecting journalists, protecting publishers, protecting the ability of people to hold power to account is absolutely fundamental, not just to our democracy, but to our freedom as individual human beings.
Scott Ludlam, thank you very much.
Great to chat.